In a previous video, you may have seen that our bathroom tap, the sink tap there, doesn't work anymore. Oh, it's not proving me wrong. Watch. There you go. That's just pressure built up. The Microswitch is no longer working because this lead, this little wire here, is not connected to it. Now, I fixed this tap once before, and the one in the kitchen probably twice, I think, yeah. So we're probably up to our third or now fourth one. I'm really losing count, to be quite honest. Now, the Microswitch itself is quite expensive. Here's one I purchased from eBay. I know it might say £16 on there, but I bought it from a private seller for £10. So it's new but old, if you got me drift. But they can go for up to £25. So they are quite expensive, especially if you have to keep buying them. You may have already seen me replacing one of these before. I gave you full instructions in another video. Up here, one of these things, you know, you can go and have a click on that and watch that. But in this video, I'm actually going to see if I can fix the Microswitch. So not just replace it with this one, and in a few years' time it does it again. I'm going to see if you can actually fix them. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is gain access to the underneath of the tap through there, and you can see that it's quite tight. We've got a shelf in here and there's a back plate protecting the underneath of the sink and everything. So the bit I want is in there. However, I have noticed that if I take this out, oh, there you go. If I take that out, there is actually a hole where I can put my hand all the way in. So that is going to be my access point. Once I've got my hand in there, all I need to do is pull the wires off and make sure I remember where they go, because there's quite a few wires under there. I also need to take this door off so I can get my head in there. Oh, that weren't supposed to happen. Is that going to be a problem? I just broke the bottom of the door. Clever, huh? Right, let's show you what I'm dealing with. You're under the sink now. Now, all right, there are the cables, little wires that come down. So I need to trace them down. And they're in there somewhere. So I think there's one on the... See, I can't really see what I'm doing. I think that's one there. Yeah. And then there's one on the top. Alright, that's one. They're just spade connectors like you find in a 12-volt system on a car. There's two. Now I'm at a campsite, so I don't have very many tools with me, but I do have these things. And I have a screwdriver. Phillips, of course. Is that it? That's it. I'm going to pop the screw back on so I don't lose it. And then this comes off. And I should be able to pull. In fact, I could probably pull it with that on. Yeah. Ah. Hold on a second. I want to be able to feed the cables back up, don't I? I can just pull the cables through, the little wires. However, I'm not going to be able to thread them through unless I undo the tap. Right, so what I've done, I've threaded the new Microswitch wires through the top part here of the tap. And then I've connected them just using a bit of tape. In fact, solder would have been a bit better, but to one of the wires. I've taken one of them out because otherwise there might not be enough room. But if I had solder, I'd be able to solder them together and then solder them to this one. Anyway, I've got to work with what I've got. If this doesn't work, I'm going to have to loosen the tap off. Oh no, there you go. Is it going through? It might be going through. I can't pull it. If I pull it, it's going to come off. It's come off. It's come off. I'm going to have to loosen the tap off. Underneath the tap is a screw with a 13mm nut on it, and it's holding the tap onto the sink. So I've got my 13mm spanner tied to my wrist. Yeah, that's good and solid. And the reason for that is if I drop it, which I have just dropped, just as it gave me the idea actually. I managed to fish it out. It didn't drop too far, but yeah, in case I drop it, I can easily fish it out. And I won't be able to film it because if I put my camera in there and it slips or whatever, I won't be able to get that out either. So I'm just going to jump cut to the bit where I've loosened the tap off, I think. Aha! I think I've finally done it. Oh yeah, hold on. I got one of the wires in my hand. There we go. Perfect. The two ends of the wire. The tap I've loosened off. You don't have to take it off. I suppose probably easier if you do. But yeah, I've loosened it off. I don't want to tighten it all back up just yet. I want to make sure I put these on the right connector. Oh, and the cord around the wrist, that didn't really help because I really needed the spanner, the socket, the ring end. I couldn't get that onto the nut. Parts of the sink were in the way and whatever, so I had to swivel it around and put that on. I've managed to connect the Microswitch up to the electrics of the motorhome. It's just a matter of taking this piece of tape off, and I'll be able to hear the pump activate. So here goes. Yes! Fantastic! I doubt that you'll be able to hear that, but that is working fine. Okay, so all I'm doing now is tightening up the tap. Put that in there. Attach that to there with the screw. See, this is the problem, they just stick out. Right, the power is back on. Let's see if the tap is going to work. Wonderful. So all I want to do now is take the old Microswitch and take it apart if I can. I don't know if I can yet. And then see if I can reattach the wires and improve this so I don't have to keep trying to repair it every time. I'm now in my, I don't know, office. It's a tiny little room where I do a lot of my electronics work. I have the Microswitch with me here, and I've set up my, well, my little table here so you can actually see what I'm doing. I can see on the Microswitch that there are little tabs here, and on the other side, here and here, same side really. And I intend to see if I can prise them apart and see if I can break this in two. I then intend to get through this. I don't know what this is here. This looks like some sort of plasticky glue maybe. I don't know, but maybe I can melt that out of the way or cut it out of the way so I can gain access to the cable, the wire here. Now as you can see, that is going to be very difficult to solder. I could probably solder it, however the other one is breaking as well, so at some point they will just solder together. Anyway, let's see if I can get this apart. Oh, bit of brute force is all I needed to do then. Did I weaken the clips? I don't know. There we are. Oh, that is the... Okay, so that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to get into here where the wires were. Can that come out even more? No, I don't think I can break this down any more. All right, still works, still clicks. What is under here? Look, it's not, I wouldn't say it's soft, but it looks like it can be removed, so to speak. Let's see if we can cut it. I've got a scalpel here, a modeler's scalpel. See if I can cut it out. No, this isn't what I thought it was. I thought this was some sort of fixing thing to fix the wire in place. Next, I'm going to try heating it with a heat gun, see if I can melt this thing on top. Now, I've only got it set to 110 degrees. Right, let's try a different temperature. Okay, it's set now to 240 degrees. No, that's not doing anything. No, it's not doing anything. Or maybe. No, I think it might be. It's got a bit softer, actually. And it's melting the top of that. Can you see that? Let me just take another look inside again. So that's all it's doing is pushing the spring, moving it from this contact here, which I assume doesn't do anything, to this contact here. There's definitely a line, a border running down there, so I think it's glued together or melted together, because I see these two slits here and they're both sides. I don't think it's going to be possible to take it apart. I tried levering the two sides apart, sticking something down the middle and pushing down on the thin tabs or whatever they are, but nothing seemed to make any difference. I was hoping that I may be able to take all these gubbins out and see the wires. Well, I don't think I can. What I've decided to do is drill a hole in the top, see if I can gouge out some of that plastic. I managed to do it, however, it didn't look pretty. In fact, it's quite solid in there. It is full of plastic. If I get my knife, I can't, that's quite solid in there. So I thought it might be some sort of glue or gummy something, some rubbery thing, but no, that is quite solid. In the process, what I think I've done is broken it even more, because that no longer clicks. What this proves to me is that you can't repair these things. So preventative is the matter of the day, I think, to stop these from breaking. So there's a couple of things I want to try. The easiest, and probably the only thing I will do with the one that I've fitted, do something like this. Wrap the wire in a coil. Okay, so when it's in the tap, this part doesn't move. This is what I want to stop. I want to stop this part of the microswitch from moving, because it's this part that keeps on moving like that and gets weaker and weaker and weaker with the tap going up and down, whatever, and that's what causes it to break. Now, if I can stop that movement, maybe tape it to the side of the tap, that white plastic thing you may remember me taking off with the screw, and then it's not moving. I hope that's the idea. Anyway, it's not moving with this coil. This part, it's moving further down here. The second thing I was thinking of doing is that whole white piece of plastic there, which the screw goes in from the top of the tap and holds the microswitch in place. I was thinking of changing that, maybe reprinting another one, redesign it and print it on my 3D printer, so the wires don't just stick out the side, they go down, they are gripped, and then there is less movement for the wire to move. The movement is further down the wire. But that's a load of faff. So I might just stick with me coil, me loops, me spring, whatever you want to call it. Right, let's get over to the motorhome and see if we can do that. What I managed to do was cut off the end of an old Bic biro, put a slot in it so the wires can go down, and then attached it to the top of the plastic thing, whatever you call it, which screws onto the top of the tap. This will hopefully stop the wires from moving a lot. So I then wrapped the wires around a temp peg so that I had that coil that I was talking about, and then just reattached it. And as you can see, they don't seem to be moving so much at the top where the wires go into the Microswitch. It's more at the bottom end where it goes into the tap body, so to speak. With any luck, I hope that that Microswitch, the wires in particular, would actually survive a bit longer. What I really would like to do is 3D print that whole top part there rather than using a bit of a Bic biro. If you had any advice, any tips, maybe you've done something very similar, or you do keep spending out £25 for a Microswitch, let us know in the comments section. But this is the end of the video. So thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Bye bye.